welcome to another edition of Creative Lounge on Trust TV. My name is Ahmed Mohammed Bello, also known as the Duke of Abuja, and I am your host on this show. On this episode of Creative Lounge, we have a guest in the house. She is prolific and true to her art. She's a mandala and a mural artist. But before we continue, we will go on a short break, and when we return, we will be meeting our artist. You're welcome back. It's still Creative Lounge on Trust TV. We have our guest in the house. Her name is Halima Abu Bakar. Halima, you're welcome to Creative Lounge.
Oh, thank you, the Duke of Abuja. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's nice to have you here. You're a very prolific artist, and you're someone I'm proud of.
Thank you.
I've been following your page for some time, and I've been really impressed with your art. I want to know, tell us, what's your journey in the art world been like?
Okay.
Tell us your emergence into art and what it's been like, how you evolved till now.
Okay. So this mandala thing for me, it was born out of a boredom. So I was bored one day back in 2014. So I woke up, I was bored, and I needed to do something. And I picked up a piece of paper and I started dawdling. Back then, I had no idea there was anything called mandala. So I was dawdling, and I was like, oh, just go online and browse through. So I went on Instagram and I was going through the Explore, and I came across a lady, Farah, a Dubai-based artist. I came across one of her pieces. I was like, oh wow, this looks good. I want to do this. Okay. So I started sending series of DM, not just to her, but other artists I found, other mandala artists I found on Instagram. And my messages were not getting replies. So instead of you can't just keep sending messages. So I decided to watch what they do.
Okay.
And mandala mostly start from, mandala is circular, is a Sanskrit word that means cycle.
Okay.
So to start anything mandala, you need cycle. So I told myself, what do you need to get a cycle? You need compass.
Okay.
So I bought the mathematical sets compass. I started with that
before used in technical drawing.
Thank you. Yeah. I started using that before I got to find out about the professional compass. So I drew my cycle and I kept creating patterns. And it was later on, few years down the line, that I realized that, the reason my messages were not getting replied to was because English is not their first language. Okay. So it's actually not their fault.
They're Arabs.
Yes, they are. So it started there. I started practicing, and the whole of 2014, 2015, 2016 was just me practicing. Because there was no one to pull me through, it was really hard for me. And back then, I had no idea. You can just go on YouTube and watch. Okay. That didn't occur to me at all. So I kept practicing, forming my own pattern till 2017 when I sold my first piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you will say you're a self-taught artist?
Yes, that I am.
No one trained you?
No one.
That's a big one. So, for example, for me, I delved into different aspects of art. I sketched, painted. Well, for you, why mandala? Out of all, spheres of art, why mandala? Why that?
Okay. So I grew up wanting to be a gynecologist. Okay. So art wasn't a thing for me. So it's a surprise why, for right now, art is just all I think about. Why mandala? When I started, I was kind of depressed that period, and mandala brought peace to me.
Okay.
It's calming when you are creating patterns from your brain, patterns you did not see anyway. It's very calming. So for me, mandala is a therapy.
So your pieces, I noticed there's a pattern in your pieces, and it's yin and yang. Why that? It's very prominent with your pieces. Why that?
Okay, I started with mandala.
Okay.
And then I got into Tezif, with the Turkish arts, the Turkish form of art. So from Tezif, I discovered geometry. And all this I taught myself. So I discovered geometry from geometrical pattern. Then my focus right now is dotilism, which is where the yin and yang comes in.
Okay.
So I started dotilism in 2020. And sometimes last year, I remembered I have always loved the concept of the Chinese yin yang. Okay. I was like, oh, create a piece, yin and yang, good and bad, light, and because we have so much happening in the country, especially last year, we had talks of dividing the country and all.
Yeah.
So that concept of create something balanced,
harmonious.
Yeah, something that explains the whole concept of balance coming together to form one. So it occurred to me that yin and yang actually represents what we face in our everyday lives. And I decided to do that. And it wasn't just a masterpiece. It became, bestseller. And so far I've created 16 pieces of it.
And there's something I noticed. You are like the pioneer of mandala art in Nigeria. Because I've surfed the net, those I see who do your kind of art are not, they're not near
quite
good.
Few.
Yeah, they're quite few, and not, I think most of them learn from you.
I know most of them. We have some creeping up now that
but
they
most
went
of them
online
still
to
use pencils to sketch on paper.
Yes. Most of them still use card and paper.
Yeah.
So not all know they can do mandala on canvas.
Have they been reaching out to you to help them out? What has it been like?
For the first, I actually taught some people, like 20 people.
Okay.
My first class was back in 2019. And since then, I've been getting messages to, do the next class. And that's actually what I'm working on right now.
Okay. Then, exhibitions. I know you've attended a few exhibitions.
Yeah, quite a few.
There was one you and I even, had to do together. Tell us what was it like? What was your experience in the exhibition? Did people appreciate your art?
The first time I was called for an exhibition, I was really nervous. Are people going to buy? Because people have been buying my work from Instagram. So this is me going to exhibit. What will people's response be like? So all those questions get someone so nervous. But a friend of mine reached out and she was like, just go there. There are thousands of people who have not heard of you.
Yeah.
There are thousands of people waiting to meet you and your work. And I went there. The first exhibition, I exhibited 3 pieces and I sold all. And I was like, wow, this is really good. I got that boost of confidence I've been looking for. So after that, I kept attending any exhibition that I was invited. And it's been so far a really wonderful experience. Meeting new artists, being the only one with the unique mandala arts in exhibition. It's been a wonderful experience.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you. Your work is quite technical. Yeah. In fact, I don't think in 10 years' time I can do your work because...
I think intricate is the word.
Yeah, it's intricate, technical, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
What's your creative process like to make your work? Okay. I'm sure it takes a lot of days or weeks. Tell us, what's your creative process like?
To be honest, sometimes when I start a piece, I have no idea how it's going to turn out.
Okay.
You know how some artists, I'm doing a landscape. This is how it's going to water, fall, this. I have no mental picture. I just start and it's like a process for me, finding out how the next step is going to be. So for canvas, for art on canvas, I prime my canvas and the first thing I do is measurements. With mandala, if you miss just even an inch or a centimeter, you have derailed the whole pattern. So measurement is very important. I measure and I outline. Outline is also important. You outline and then you start to paint before varnishing your work and framing it. So the creative process, it's a very enjoyable process.
How long does it take you to finish a piece?
Okay. The duration depends on how complex the work is. So there was this painting I did 6 feet by 4 feet that took 3 months.
Wow.
Yes, the client had to wait for 3 months. So there are some that takes 5 days, there are some 7 days. So it depends on the complexity and the size of the art piece.
Okay. So tell us, do you have any particular artist who influences your work, maybe in Nigeria or abroad?
Yes, there is.
Maybe someone you look up to.
Yes, there is a Dubai-based artist, Zara, that I really look up to, and I hope to someday meet in person and collaborate with.
Okay. In Nigeria, do you have anyone you're looking to collaborate with?
In Nigeria, someone I really want to collaborate with, although we have done some few collaborations, but I really want a bigger pieces, and he's not a mandala artist, he's a calligrapher, called Selim.
Okay, I know.
Yes, so he's someone I want to keep collaborating with.
I also know you do mural art, and I've seen some of your videos and pictures where you're on a scaffold. How do you manage to do that, being a woman and, doing something so energetic?
Okay.
It's quite impressive.
So that's the thing. There is no job description that is mainly for men. Everyone gets to do anything they want to. So it just requires the determination and, the determination.
You don't get scared climbing scaffolds?
No, I don't. Although growing up, I'm this person that I was a very timid child, scared of heights and all. I'm still scared of heights. So if I get a mural commission, the first thing I think of is getting a strong scaffolding or a ladder. So getting a strong one helps with the fear.
So we'll be going on a short break, and when we return, we'll be asking a few more questions and go to our next segment on the show. You're welcome back to Creative Lounge on Trust TV, and we still have our guest in the house who goes by the name Halima Abu Bakr, the mural and mandala artist. Halima, so I want you to tell us, what has your experience been like doing mural art? I've seen you on scaffolds, you've done some very nice, jobs in your last project. Tell us, what was the experience like?
My mural journey actually started in 2019. I have this client that was getting framed pieces of my art, and he was like, "Oh, I'm opening a space, a Nigerian brand space only.
Okay.
Where they sell only made in Nigerian stuff, and he wants me to come and paint." I was like, "Oh, but I've never painted wall before. I just paint canvases. I don't do walls." I was like, "I believe in you. Come and do it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You don't do it well, and we clean it up." And that actually gave me the confidence I needed.
Okay.
So I bought some acrylic paints. I went there and I did a wonderful mandala mural, and it turned out so well. And after that job, each next project I get, or the next project I get on mural, I keep asking myself that question: what's the worst that can happen? And that has so far helped me. So from there, I went to do some mural job at few restaurants like the Beirut Lounge, at Wuse 2.
Yeah.
I also did a mural at Salmon Beauty Spa at Ghana Street. And the latest project, which was the one you saw,
Yeah.
and the one you're referencing, is the Masjid project in
Okay.
Ilorin. So I got a call from a client. Hello, is this Limat? Yes, we have a space, a mosque, a masjid under construction, but located at Ilorin. Will you be able to do a mural? And I was like, yeah, sure. Let's talk about send dimensions, photos, and all. So they did that, and I came up with some patterns, created patterns, put together some team, and then we flew down to Ilorin, and it came out wonderful.
But there's something that fascinates me particularly, and that's you being on the scaffold. You know, that's in this part of the world, you won't find a lot of women do that kind of thing.
Sure.
Where did the confidence come from? Because watching it, I was like, I didn't expect you being on a scaffold. Where did the courage come from?
It's funny because I'm actually scared of heights, but the confidence, I think the confidence has a lot to do with how sturdy, how strong the scaffold. I won't step on any scaffold that is not strong. So I test it first before I get comfortable standing or sitting on it. I've been trying to build up much confidence and do away with my fear of heights. And I think I'm making progress.
Moving on to the next question. I know Nigeria is quite tough. This is business. You know, share with us your challenges in the business side of art. You know, doing mandala, doing mural, you must have faced a lot of challenges, you know, trying to get your materials, you know, negotiating with clients.
Yeah.
What's it like?
For mural, I guess clients think mural is actually more difficult and, you know, working on a larger scale than a canvas. But I guess clients think it's something that you just splash paint. I've had a client told me that, oh, your price is actually too expensive, and I'll call a few friends and we'll just splash paint. I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. That also works. So the challenge is people keep thinking it's something
Very easy.
something very easy to do, which is not. And then we have the hiking supplies, the hike in the prices of art material. It's been crazy.
So it's time to move on to the next segment, which is Artist in the Act, where we will be seeing Halima Abubakar doing her artwork. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. We've seen Halima Abubakar in her space doing her thing, and it was so beautiful watching her. And now we have one of her pieces right here. It's so beautiful. And she will be telling us a motivation and inspiration behind this piece. Halima, This is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I must commend you. Tell us, how did you make this? What inspired you?
So this is the famous yin yang,
Yeah.
but the title is actually balance.
Okay.
Why balance? So we have the feminine energy and the masculine energy.
Okay.
So it's balance. It's titled balance because clearly we have some seed of the feminine energy present in the masculine and some seed from the masculine. So this is telling us that opposites and complementary forces can actually come together to form sort of balance. So having this alone, it doesn't make sense having this or that standing on their own. So they need each other. There is no male without female. There's no female without male sort of relationship. So they are completely opposite and different forces coming together, balancing each other to form one whole piece.
So it's exemplary of a husband and a wife. You can't.
Yeah, you can't have hot head.
Yes. So
You
they
need
have
some
to,
kind of
there needs to
calm.
be a balance.
Yeah. That's why you hear people with that famous term, you are the yin to my yang. You are no yang without your yin.
So it means this is something very harmonious.
Yes, it
So
is.
people who, married couple can have this at home. It's always going to remind them that there's no me without you and there's no you
we
without
need
me.
balance. We need balance.
It's beautiful. How long did it take you to make this?
This took 7 days actually.
7 days. That's quite symbolic. God spent 7 days to create the world. The Bible.
It's also referred to our, everyday life.
Yeah.
When you work so much in that active state, you keep working every day, 7 days a week, all days, every month, no break. What happens is that you shut down. So you need a restive, state. You need some time to yourself. Do something fun, have fun, art therapy and all. You can't work if you keep working that much.
Yeah.
You get exhausted and eventually sometimes lead to death. So we need balance in our everyday lives. So this is also a reminder for you to create a balance in your life. Whatever you're doing, you need balance.
I want to ask you, when you paint, do you listen to music?
Actually, before I didn't. I'm this completely silent person, so which is why I prefer to work at night. Then I met a friend sometimes 4 years ago, and he kept disturbing me with music whenever I'm working. I'm like, no, turn that off. I want complete, total silence. Then he introduced me to Yanni.
Okay.
Some songs from Yanni, and I was like, this is so calming. This
You
is so
definitely
soothing.
need something sonorous to do
Yes,
something
so
like
I
this.
started listening to Yanni whenever I paint, and now I just listen to all genres of music, and it helps. So now I don't want silence. I want something in the background to help me work.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
So there are a lot of people out there that I know of. You have a lot of fans. Tell them they want to be like you. Give them some word of motivation. Tell them what it takes to attain this height you've gotten to.
So to be honest, if you set out to do something, you are going to have multiple people trying to discourage you from whatever. When I started, most of my tools, you can't find them here in Nigeria.
Okay.
I have to order all the way from China. And back then in school, I actually started when I was in school.
Okay.
I have friends telling me, why do you keep using your pocket money? You're starving yourself just to get tools. Art is not something you learn. Art is something that is inborn. And that kind of like discouraged me for a while. And then I have some family relatives, telling me, who is going to buy? When I started, who is going to buy this? You keep wasting your money and all. So if you are venturing into something new, be rest assured that there are multiple people that are going to discourage you. So you need to be determined, give it your all, put everything you have in your craft, believe in yourself, and trust me, practice makes improvements. People keep telling you practice makes perfection. There's no perfection in arts. Just keep practicing and give it your all, and definitely you see growth and improvements.
We have come to the end of this show. Halima, thank you very much for honoring our invitation. Keep doing what you do. You're true to your craft, and we're proud of you. We hope to see bigger works from you.
You're welcome.
This is where we call it a day. See you same station next week. I remain your host, Ahmed Mohammed Bello. See you next time.